Happy Thursday. Hopefully everyone's having an awesome Thursday. Hopefully everyone's doing great. Hopefully you're not being assaulted by students, because that's what this video is going to be about. That's right. This video is going to be about parents not being parents, not disciplining their kids, and it's being reflected into surveys. There's no repercussions. There's no consequences for bad behavior. And this is by the conversations.com. I also have one from News Nation that pretty much says the same thing. This one has individual attacks. I may get to it, I may not. We'll see how it fares. But this one has a lot of information. So let me go ahead and get into it. Significant figures: 10% of teachers who've said they've been physically attacked by students. 10%. This is the portion of K-12 teachers in the United States who have been physically attacked by students. A new survey has found. Various news outlets have reported that they've been described as a wave of students' misbehavior because there's no repercussions, there's no punishment for the parents. Either the parents giving up and they just send their kids to daycare, what we normally call school, because they don't want to deal with them anymore. They don't want the responsibility, I guess. Or they just want to be their best friend and they don't want to push them away. Back in the day, I would have gotten my hiney spanked with a wooden spoon from my mother, or I would have been slapped across the face by my father, depending on how old I was, if I were to act a ruckus. Since the students returning from remote learning into in-person instructions, the reported surge in students' misconduct is a part of an upward trend in students' assaults on teachers. The percentage of teachers who have been attacked by students have increased from 6% to 10% over the past decade. Federal data shows as school districts across the country reported critical shortages in teaching staff. Some people worry that the attacks on teachers might push qualified candidates away from the profession. Such concerns are well-founded. In my research, interviews with high school teachers who were attacked by students, I've learned from teachers firsthand that these assaults have negative effects on their morale and make them want to leave their jobs. Yeah, if you're getting verbally assaulted, I think this is really talking about being physically assaulted, but then you got the verbal assaults, you got the threats, you got the parents threatening the teachers why they're failing their perfect angel. Their perfect angel doesn't say stuff like that. No one wants to be degraded while they work. I mean, I'm sure some people do, but most people don't. As I pointed out in my book, Suspended Punishment Violence and the Failure of the School Safety Attacks are leaving teachers traumatized in some cases. Educators told me that they started illegally carrying guns to schools after they were attacked. Well, I think in the state of Texas, they're making that a little bit more legal to allow teachers to arm themselves. That's for different reasons. Teachers also told me that they feel as if the principals do not have their back. In fact, several teachers who have been attacked by students express fear of retribution from the administrators. Why would a principal not support a teacher for reporting being attacked? Teachers informed me that the principals are worried about their schools getting a bad reputation, which could make it harder to recruit new teachers and students. At least one school in my study could not recruit substitute teachers because the school had a bad reputation for violence between students and staff. When the teacher reported to the principals they've been victimized by the students, the principals will minimize their concerns according to the teachers. And the principals would also shift the focus on what the teacher did or didn't do leading up to the attack. This is no different than saying, well, clearly you got raped because you were wearing that dress. Well, clearly you asked for it by letting it happen. I mean, that's pretty much what this is. This is victim blaming the teacher. Call for tougher laws over the past decade. Teachers have urged policymakers to create legislations that address violent student behaviors. Teachers have spoken publicly about how being attacked by students hamper their ability to teach effectively. I mean, it's kind of hard to teach when you're getting your butt kicked. Lawmakers have tried to come up with tougher laws to deter violence against teachers. However, many bills fail because concerns that the bill will erode students' rights. Students' rights to due process. Well, students don't have rights. Kids don't really have rights. Parents have rights. Teachers have rights. But far as students and kids, they don't really have rights. In my personal opinion, I mean, they clearly have some rights, but in turn, I found in my book that many teachers feel powerless because violent students are being allowed to stay in their class. For example, in Connecticut, Public Act 18 to 89 will allow teachers to have students removed from their classroom if those students engage in violent acts. Would also allow teachers to set the standard for students to return to classrooms. Although this proposal receives a substantial support in Connecticut House, in the Senate, and then Governor Daniel Malloy vetoed the bill, arguing that it ran counter to his efforts to reduce exclusion from the classrooms and cut off the school to prison pipeline. All for equity, not for equality, but for equity. If everyone's stupid, then everyone has equity of applications or outcomes. The Teacher Protection Act in Minnesota would have compelled public schools to expel students who assault teachers, but the legislation failed to gain much traction because the fierce opposition from the Educational Minnesota, a nonprofit organization that represents educators. This particular organization wanted to prioritize restorative justice incentives that seeks to keep students in schools to make amends rather than have the students be suspended or expelled. Once again, there's no consequences. I could go slap a teacher as a student and nothing's going to happen to me, according to what I'm hearing. And that's very, very dehumanizing towards the teacher. I don't support that. Thus, the challenge for policymakers and administrators is to find a way to protect teachers without jeopardizing the students' right to due process. The well-being and stability of America's teaching force depends on finding the right balance. I mean, the right balance is to hold the kids responsible. If the kids are not being held responsible, at least hold the parents responsible. Find the parents. Let's see here, attacks on teachers. Yeah. Oh yeah, attacks on the teachers and students have on the rise as evidence slewed by horrifying videos posted online. Florida teacher allegedly being attacked over Nintendo Switch, to an altercation in California which teachers are asked a student to turn down loud music. I saw her charging. I could not brace myself enough to get out of the way, said North Carolina teacher. Reading a horton of an 18-year-old knocked her to the ground, and there was another coming from behind me. When she grabbed my hair and they took me down and knocked me unconscious. Horton said that she asked for the students to take off a hoodie to meet school dress code guidelines. Let's see here. Mark Hayes was a teacher in Tennessee for 31 years until he was attacked in his classroom. The student pushed me in my chest, knocked me off my feet, landed on my back. I was blindsided. That is something that just never happened to me, he said. Let's see. Horton says she now suffers from PTSD after getting a concussion and broken finger after incidents. That's something that's led her to quit teaching. I don't sleep, she says. And for Hayes, have to face a student who assaulted him every day was just too much. I was forced to teach someone that physically assaulted me, he said. I had to decide to walk away from a 31-year career that I really never thought I had to do. It's very tragic. I mean, and this really falls onto the parents. Well, they say it takes a village to raise a kid, and if the parents are not raising kids, It makes it harder for the village to raise a kid and incorporate them into the society to make sure that they're well educated and well fit for society needs. These are all future convicts because if you don't punish them when they're kids, they're just going to end up being little hoodlums as they grow up and leave high school. Some of them probably join gangs because they weren't disciplined enough or form their own gang, have a criminal organization, whatnot. I mean, they may be able to get into the trades, but who knows? But this really does start from the home. This really starts from the parents. And when teachers tell parents that their kids are hoodlums, they say, no, my little Timmy is just an angel. He would never do that. Or my little angel, she will never say something like that. She's never even heard a fly. But it really starts from home. This starts about parents actually being parents, disciplining their kids at a young age, and keep them disciplined. Remind them from time to time when they get out of line. Now, I'm not talking about smacking them off the side of the head every time. But I am talking about making sure that they're properly disciplined, that they know how to act when they're out in public. It seems like that bare minimum isn't being met, and it's showing with 1 in 10 teachers being assaulted. That's 10% of the teachers. That does not include the insults, the verbal threats, and also looks like the administration and the principals are siding with the students because they rather not get the reputation or they don't want to lose funding for the schools because every time you kick a school out, they lose funding, at least here in Texas it does. But I don't know what the solution is other than somehow holding parents more responsible for their kids' actions. With that being said, that is my video for today. Have yourself an awesome weekend.